The upper-class society in Beijing has a shared secret. If you see a woman driving a car with license plate 8.888, then absolutely do not mess with her. Su Wangqing is the one who drives that Mini with license plate 8888. Rumors say she loves her husband like her own life, but she likes to seek new thrills outside. She plays very wildly, keeping up to 99 men on the side. But there is one taboo, that is not to make a scene in front of her husband. Everyone knows the husband who has been with her for 7 years is her weak spot. But the 100th man is very disobedient, relying on the favor she shows him. He sent me a hotel consumption bill. The person registered on it is Su Wangqing. Right after that, a voice message was sent. Darling, don't use protection anymore. I'm about to get pregnant with our child. I immediately recognized that as Su Wangqing's voice. Just as I was about to go confront her, he sent another challenging message. Do you know how much the queen adores me? Every year on your birthday, on your anniversary, she will come stay with me after you fall asleep. You're just the third wheel in our relationship. Looking at these challenging messages, my heart became calm as paper. At this moment, I suddenly felt relieved. After leaving the hospital, I went to find Song Hao, asking him to fake a plane crash, because I understand Su Wangqing well. She would absolutely never agree to divorce. Even less willing to let me leave, she would go crazy immediately. After returning from Song Hao's place, I received another video sent by Chu Yanzhou. The video was 2.5 hours long. In the video, Chu Yanzhou wore a butler outfit with cat ears. The table beside was filled with various toys, from the kitchen, desk to the hallway. The two of them made love in every corner of the room. Su Wangqing in the video had an appearance I had never seen before. Every scene in it made me feel like my heart was being cut. But I seemed to be torturing myself. I watched the entire video. Actually, I had known about Su Wangqing's affair for a long time, but still couldn't let go of my love for her. Wanting to cut her out of my life was like being alive, cutting open my chest, pulling out my blood-soaked heart and tearing it apart. I sat in a daze for a very long time. When consciousness gradually returned, looking at this empty house, not knowing how much time had passed, my stomach began to send waves of twisting pain. The pain was so severe my vision went dark, almost losing consciousness. I struggled to crawl to the living room. The first thing I thought of wasn't calling 120, but calling Su Wangqing. The phone rang many times before being answered. At this point, I was almost fainting from pain, even lacking the strength to speak. Where are you? I wanted to say I was feeling very unwell, wanted her to come home quickly. But before I could finish my sentence, Su Wangqing interrupted me. Her voice sounded coquettish and seductive. Darling, there's something very important at the company. Tonight, her speaking speed suddenly became hurried. I can't come home tonight. The call was hung up. I also completely lost consciousness. When I woke up again, I was in the hospital. Song Ho was keeping watch by the hospital bed. His eyes were red. You scared me to death. Do you know you almost died? Song Hao had originally planned to call me, to say the fake death escape plan was all arranged. But no matter what, he couldn't get through to my phone. He was worried something had happened, so he came looking. The result was he found me unconscious on the floor as soon as he opened the door. The doctor said I had severe acute pancreatitis. When I was brought in, part of the pancreas had already dissolved. If it had been a little later, even gods couldn't have saved me. Surgery required family signature, but we couldn't reach your wife no matter what. Song Ho asked if I needed to call her again. I stared blankly at the wall, then suddenly laughed. No need to contact her anymore. Never need to again. Early morning, I struggled to leave the hospital. It wasn't until noon that Su Wangqing returned to my side. She leaned against me, then opened her tablet, pointing to an island. Darling, look at this. I just bought this island as a gift for you. And there's more. I've started construction on amusement parks in every city across the country. Later, they'll be named after our child. When the baby is born, she spoke with great excitement, only then realizing that since she entered the door, I hadn't said a word. My complexion was very pale, forehead covered in cold sweat. What's wrong with you? Darling, where do you feel uncomfortable? I'll take you to the hospital right now. She saw I looked very unwell. Panicked to the point her voice was trembling. At this moment, looking at my pale face, her heart felt like someone was gripping and pulling it. In fine, I gripped her wrist tightly. You know, my stomach has never been good. Yesterday I ate some cold things, just stomach discomfort. There's medicine on the table. Help me get some. Su Wangqing immediately ran out to get medicine, then brought him warm water. Looking at the medicine box, she hesitantly said, Darling, why is this different from the stomach medicine you usually take? I said casually, new medicine the doctor prescribed. Su Wangqing didn't ask further. I'll stay home all day today to be with you. What do you want for lunch? Go to work? No need. I have to attend a class reunion at noon today. Tonight I have to visit my old teachers. You go handle your business. I stood up, this time leaving China. Perhaps I would never return again. Before leaving, seeing friends one more time, consider it as farewell. Su Wangqing wasn't comfortable letting me go out alone, insisted on following both of us. As soon as we entered the private room for the class reunion, everyone burst into laughter. I said if Lu Jingshan comes today, then Su Wangqing will definitely follow. Su Wangqing smiled, accepting everyone's teasing, taking out the gifts she had prepared, personally distributing them to everyone. Everyone was amazed. My God, This is the latest model watch from Philip. How many digits is that? Every time President Su gives us such precious gifts. All thanks to basking in Lu Jingxin's glory, I had very good relationships in university. Everyone present was my good friend. Su Wangqing was also willing to spend effort to please them. Because when they were happy, I would be happy too. Everyone secretly marveled. The power of love was so great, it could make Su Wangqing that flower on high become a sunflower. Smiling at everyone, Jingxin is really enviable. Having a wife who loves you so much. Hearing these words, I no longer smiled happily like before, just politely smiled. While the private room was filled with cheerful laughter and conversation, the door was suddenly pushed open. Chu Yanzhou appeared before everyone with great spirit. Having a class reunion, why did anyone notify me? Aren't we from the same class? Because of Chu Yanzhou's appearance, the atmosphere suddenly became suffocating, but he seemed not to notice everyone's unwelcome attitude, naturally sat down across from me, then smiled squinting at the gifts in everyone's hands. Philip is a very famous brand, but perhaps everyone doesn't know. This is exactly the brand I founded. Hearing him say this, everyone wondered. His family had been pushed to bankruptcy by Su Wangqing years ago. Nowhere in the country could they mix anymore. How could he now establish such a luxury brand? My family encountered some setbacks years ago, but later I met my wife. 2 years ago she spent several hundred billion, also used many connections, easily establishing a company for me. And not just one company. She opened 26 companies for me. After speaking, Chu Yanzhou's gaze swept over Su Wangqing with sincerity, then smiled at me somewhat challengingly. I couldn't catch my breath. I remembered 2 years ago there was a period Su Wangqing was particularly busy. At that time she said the company was expanding overseas markets, so she was a bit busy. But it turned out she was busy opening companies for Chu Yanzhou. A violent pain spread from my heart, also affecting the old surgical wound. I couldn't help but clutch my stomach. What's wrong, darling? Where do you feel uncomfortable? Su Wangqing immediately stood up worriedly. I'll call a doctor right away. Chu Yanzhou laughed coldly. Lu Jingxin, I thought you were a big man. Why are you so affected like this? Always looking half dead like that. As soon as his words finished, Su Wangqing's expression darkened. She decisively slapped him. If you don't shut up then get out. I'll make sure you can never open your mouth again. Chu Yanzhou raised his hand to stroke his cheek, then gently sniffed his palm. Smiling. Okay. I'll leave. Don't be angry anymore. As soon as he left, the atmosphere in the room became lively again, but my complexion remained pale. Su Wangqing worriedly gripped my hand. Darling, where exactly do you feel uncomfortable? The doctor will be here soon. I pushed her away. I'm fine. I just want to use the restroom. Don't follow me. As soon as I reached the hallway, I was blocked by Chu Yanzhou. He smiled coldly. Don't think that because Wangqing hit me for you. You have any important position in her heart. She and I already have a pair of children, although through surrogacy, but they are still our bloodline. Her heart is already leaning toward me. Do you believe it? I just need to say the children have a fever. She will immediately come to me. When I returned to the private room, Su Wangqing's expression was indeed unusually worried. She approached, kissed my cheek lightly. Darling, I have urgent business. Must go to the company. I've already told the manager. All expenses go on my account. You just have fun with your friends. I gripped her hand tightly. Didn't you say you'd stay with me today? Can you stay? Looking at my calm eyes, for some reason, Su Wangqing's heart suddenly felt panicked. She felt as she left today, she would lose something very important. But Chu Yanzhou had said, the child was sick. That was her flesh and blood. She had to go see. Finally, she still pried away one by one. The fingers I was gripping tightly. Darling, I will definitely come home to be with you tonight. Okay. I took a deep breath. So Su Wangqing's heart had really leaned to the other side. Half an hour later, Chu Yanzhou sent me a video. Even knowing what would be inside, I still tremblingly clicked open. In the video, Chu Yanzhou was holding Su Wangqing. I can't live without seeing you for even a minute. I missed you unbearably, so I went to the class reunion. But seeing you and Lu Jingxin so loving, I was jealous to the point of madness. That's why I said those sarcastic things. And you even hit me because of him. And you're still pregnant. How can I be angry because of him? Su Wangqing laughed lightly. You could see she was very pleased. She took a hot boiled egg to compress his swollen red cheek. All right. Who told you to provoke Jingxin in front of everyone? But today I was a bit heavy-handed. If you have any requests, just say it. Consider it compensation for you. The children's birthday is coming up. I want the island you just bought as a birthday gift for them. Su Wangqing frowned. No, that's what I'm planning to give to my and Jingxin's child. How can it become yours? The month you were pregnant. We were often together. Su Wangqing frowned. Don't talk nonsense. This is definitely Jingxin's child. It's precisely because it's his child that I'm willing to give birth myself. Chu Yanzhou's expression turned cold. Then smiled. I've already consulted a master. That island suits our two children's destiny. Very prosperous for them. You already promised to compensate me. Beg you. My queen. This time Su Wangqing agreed. Chu Yanzhou faced the camera with a challenging smile, then sent another voice message. Look, even though she already promised to give it to you, as long as I open my mouth, she will still give it to me. You've lost. I held the phone, sitting stunned in place. I remember before when I got injured working part-time, Su Wangqing did the same, used eggs to help me relieve pain. So the things she did for me, she would also do for other men. At this moment I felt exhausted, but as long as I left Su Wangqing, everything would be fine. Tomorrow I could leave. That afternoon I visited my old teachers. Before parting, the old teacher pulled me to a nearby temple, saying this place was very spiritual, wanted to pray for a peace talisman for me. Arriving here, the monk I'd never met called out my name. Benefactor wants to ask how I recognized you. Right, the monk smiled. 1 year ago, there was a female benefactor named Su Wonking who donated 80 million to our temple. She also kowtowed 3 steps from the foot of the mountain up to the temple, praying for a peace talisman for you, but at that time she didn't take the peace talisman home, but left it here, asking us to chant and bless it. I am very happy, seeing you two as a couple so loving. I am also at peace. I lowered my eyes. The lingering attachment to past warmth and the pain of betrayal mixed together made my just calmed heart surge with waves again. Today is fate. Since the benefactor has come here, please take the peace talisman home. Receiving the peace talisman, turning to leave, the monk called me back. Wait. Benefactor. At that time, Benefactor Su also prayed for 3 more peace talismans. Please take them home together. Receiving them, but when I saw the names on them, I really wanted to laugh. Written on them were exactly the names of Chu Yanzhou and the twins. That night when Su Wonking came home, she found I had already gone to sleep myself for so many years. They had been used to waiting for the other to return. Only when holding each other could they sleep. This is the first time. I didn't wait for her. Su Wonking felt uneasy. She hugged me, burying her face in my chest. I missed you so much, darling. Even just a few hours apart, but I felt like several days had passed. If one day you're not with me anymore, I definitely won't be able to live. Really? I whispered softly. All right, darling. There's something I want to discuss with you about that island. I've already consulted a master. The feng shui isn't very good. He'll buy 2 more islands. Is that okay? Close my eyes. Up to you. Sensing the coldness and impatience in my voice, Su Wonking became even more uneasy. She asked carefully, darling, did I make you angry? No, I'm just tired. I took a deep breath. In a few days, it's our wedding anniversary. Tomorrow afternoon, I want to take the private jet abroad. I've ordered a gift overseas. I want to go get it myself. You're still sick. A flight that takes 15 hours. That would be too exhausting. Better let me go. I smiled lightly. Anniversary gifts should naturally be gotten personally. Hearing me say this, Su Wonking's heart melted. Okay, I'll listen to you completely. The next morning, Su Wonking made breakfast and went out. She said there was business at the company. After she left, I began packing, opening the wardrobe, taking out the clothes I had personally made for Su Wonking, cutting them into small pieces and throwing them in the trash. All the expensive gifts Su Wonking gave me, I distributed to the household staff. The photo album that Su Wonking and I had accumulated over 3 years. We had promised each other to save until we were old to look at together. Also threw everything into the fireplace. Su Wonking had forgotten to bring important documents. When she returned, she saw our photos burning in the flames. Her head exploded with a bang. Without thinking, she reached into the fire to save the last half of the album. Darling, her voice trembled as she looked at me. Why burn these things? I smiled. Nothing. Just felt they were taken poorly. Didn't want to keep these ugly photos. I approached, pulling up Su Wonking's burned hand. We still have a long future ahead. We can take new ones. Why did you reach into the fire? Your hand is injured like this. Call a doctor to treat it. Seeing the concern in my eyes, the panic in Su Wonking's heart gradually calmed. She began acting coquettish. Darling, blow on it for me and it won't hurt anymore. If her subordinates saw her like this now, they would definitely think their cold CO had been possessed by something at this age. Really shameless. I approached, covering the fabric scraps in the trash. After getting the documents, Su Wonking stood on tiptoes and kissed my forehead lightly. I'm going to the company. I'll be home for lunch. She hadn't been gone long when Chu Yanzhou sent me another message. Grand Point Hotel. Your wife is here. Today there's a good show for you to watch. I was silent, so every time she said she was going to the company, she was actually going to find Chu Yanzhou. Clearly knowing that going there, what I would see would definitely make me collapse. But I still went. It turned out today was the twins' birthday. Su Wonking, together with her parents and her friends, all gathered to celebrate the twins' birthday. They held the birthday celebration in the hotel. The service staff walking around called Chu Yanzhou President Su's husband. Su Wonking didn't object, but even looked at Chu Yanzhou and smiled, with gentle light sparkling in her eyes. And Su's parents, toward Chu Yanzhou, showed smiles I had never seen before. I stood behind a pillar outside the hall and heard the conversation between Su Wonking and her cousin Shen Rushuang. I'm telling you, cousin, do you really plan to continue like this for life? Shen Rushuang frowned. Hiding forever will be exposed. No matter how well you hide, your brother-in-law will discover it someday. Su Wonking smiled. I love Jingshan. Yanzhou is my children's father. I also can't do without him. Living like this for life is quite good. What if you can't hide it anymore? What do you plan to do? Shen Rushuang muttered. You're not faithful to your marriage. This is too unfair to your brother-in-law. There will be that day. Haven't these 2 years already passed like this? Su Wonking was still very confident. I also know I've wronged Jingshan. I will be doubly good to him to compensate him. Shen Rushuang disdainfully rolled her eyes. Can love be compensated with material things? For the sake of our sisterhood, I'm warning you, An is coming back to the country soon. She's so rigid and hates most when people mess around like this. You better hide your little lover well. If Aunt finds out, she'll definitely expose everything. At this moment I just felt nauseous, staggering out of the hotel, but the continuous mental trauma of these days made me unable to bear it anymore. My vision went dark and I fell straight to the ground. When I woke up again, I was in a strange room. On the sofa beside the bed sat a woman in an expensive suit dress, wearing rimless glasses on her nose. She was flipping through a thick stack of documents. Though her expression was emotionless, but in her beautiful appearance, she inexplicably radiated a sense of pressure. I sat up, dazed for a few seconds, only then realizing the person before me was Su Wangqing's aunt. Gu Ran. She had been living and working abroad year-round. I had only met her a few times. I only knew Su Wangqing was somewhat afraid of this aunt who was 3 years younger than her, because when she was naughty as a child, her parents couldn't bear to hit her. It was always Gu Ran who disciplined her. Su Wangqing evaluated her as rigid and serious. Everything had to follow rules. Awake. Gu Ran folded the documents in her hands. The doctor said you just had surgery, haven't recovered yet, plus excessive emotional fluctuations. That's why you fainted. She slowly walked toward me. About your surgery, Wangqing doesn't know. Does she? Otherwise she wouldn't let you faint alone on the roadside. I was silent for a long time. Thank you for today, but please don't tell her about this. Seeing Gu Ran had no intention of agreeing, pleaded softly. Please. Gu Ran paused. The couple must have problems. Normally, this matter should definitely be told to Su Wangqing, but somehow, her heart softened. Finally she agreed to help me hide it. She arranged for someone to take me home. I hadn't been home long when Su Wangqing also returned. She took out a new watch again. The custom-made watch has arrived. Darling, see if you like it. I glanced at it. That style was exactly the same as the one she gave to Chu Yanzhou today. I couldn't help but laugh. All this time, so it was all cheap sentiment with identical copies. No need. I want to go see the little cottage. That place holds many precious memories. Now it's 12 o'clock, at 3 this afternoon. I will leave here forever. Go take a look one last time. Consider it farewell. Su Wangqing paused, her expression slightly panicked, because earlier Chu Yanzhou had demanded to live with her, so she had already given him the keys to the little cottage. Today he was taking the 2 children to play there. Okay, let's go after lunch. She went into the kitchen, secretly sending a message to Chu Yanzhou, telling him to leave quickly. The 2 arrived at the estate. As soon as I entered I sensed something was wrong. It was very clear that someone else had been living here. I pretended not to notice anything. Went straight upstairs. In the bedroom, there were still several photo albums of me and Su Wangqing. Left here made me feel disgusted, but as soon as I opened the photo album, I froze in place. The photo album was full of Su Wangqing and Chu Yanzhou, along with the twins, the 4 of them in lavender fields, under the Eiffel Tower in Paris, on hot air balloons. All these places were places Su Wangqing had visited with me. Every single place had left unforgettable memories. Seeing my face clearly turned pale, Su Wangqing approached. What's wrong, darling? I slammed the photo album shut. Smiled. Nothing. I want to go home now. Turned to go downstairs. Su Wangqing's phone suddenly rang. Her expression immediately became panicked. Darling, I need to use the restroom. You go down and wait for me. Okay. I nodded and left. But a few minutes later, I came back up. Outside the bathroom door, I heard Su Wangqing's worried voice. Didn't I tell you to take the children away? Why are you still here? Don't you want to play something exciting? Chu Yanzhou laughed softly. We've done it on your marital bed before, facing your wedding photo, but now as downstairs. Doesn't this feel more exciting than before? Some unacceptable sounds came through. I stood outside the door. My heart no longer had any ripples. I laughed once, stepped lightly, went downstairs in from a remote mountain village. My mother was kidnapped and sold there. My father was a drunkard. When drunk he would abuse both mother and son. When I was 15, I ran away from the mountains. The first thing I did was send my biological father to prison. My father cursed me to die restlessly. My mother gained freedom because of me, but never thanked me, because I was evidence of her humiliation, a festering wound in her life. Growing up in such a twisted family, I learned to build high walls in my heart and keep distance from everyone. But at 18, Su Wangqing burst into my life. She was like a fire that never goes out, persistently melting the ice in my heart, gently soothing all the pain from my past. She gave me countless love, also restored my ability to love people, but it was also she who at my happiest moment stabbed me with the heaviest and most painful knife. This scar will never heal again. A few minutes later, Su Wangqing walked out of the estate. I silently looked at her for a while, suddenly raised my hand to show her the braided rope on my wrist. This is what you made for me with your own hands, but today I discovered it has faded. Wangqing, tell me, has your love for me faded? No. Su Wangqing's expression was very sincere. My love for you only grows more each day. I laughed meaningfully. I had originally planned to leave quietly, but now I've changed my mind. I want to take revenge on Su Wangqing for her fickleness, for deceiving me for 2 whole years, reaching out to embrace her. Wangqing, I love you too, so wait for me to return, to celebrate with you, our 3rd wedding anniversary. Oh right, I took out an envelope, very seriously placing it in Su Wangqing's hands. This is a gift for you. Don't open it until 2 days later. Inside were screenshots from the videos Chu Yanzhou sent me. When news of my plane crash comes this afternoon, she will definitely open this envelope. Then she'll know. Was her affair that broke my heart, even killed her beloved husband. I want her in the future to live every day in pain and regret. Okay, I'll wait for you to return. Su Wangqing's eyes sparkled, glittering with hopeful light. Darling, let me take you to the airport now. I shook my head, refusing. No need to take me. I know you're a very busy person. Soon someone else will need to find you. Su Wangqing was a bit flustered. Was that her illusion? Why did she feel her husband's words carried mockery? Her heart suddenly filled with unease. The next moment, her phone rang. A message from Chu Yanzhou arrived. Aren't you unsatisfied just now, after sending your husband away? Come back and continue. Okay. Actually, the first time she and Chu Yanzhou had relations was after being forced to drink by her parents. At that time she felt she was dirty, wanted to go die, but Chu Yanzhou knelt on the ground, begging her without any self-respect. Though you caused my family's bankruptcy, I still love you. Wangqing. Without you, I will really die. As long as you're happy, I'm willing to do anything to please her. He truly had no bottom line. Finally, he put on my clothes, said, you can treat me as Lu Jingshan. Everything you can't bear to do to him, you can do to me. At that moment, the fire in Su Wangqing's heart was ignited by him. She had many fantasies about me. She wanted to whip me, wanted to hear me beg, wanted to see me torn and crawling under her feet. She just couldn't bear to treat me that way. But with Chu Yanzhou, she didn't need so many reservations. All fantasies could be realized on him. Then I won't take you to the airport. Be careful on the road. Before leaving, I looked at her one last time, but only saw her back. I softly said goodbye. Goodbye. Su Wangqing. Goodbye forever. Several hours later, when Su Wangqing was making love with Chu Yanzhou on the big bed in the estate, she received a call from her assistant. You better have earth-shattering news. Su Wangqing's voice carried dissatisfaction at being disturbed. The assistant's voice was trembling. President Su, we just received news. The boss plane just left domestic airspace and crashed in the open sea. Su Wangqing's pupils suddenly contracted. The blood in her entire body froze instantly. What did you say? A few seconds later, Su Wangqing suddenly fell straight down, opening her mouth and vomiting a lot of blood. Fresh blood stained a large area of the bedsheet red. Amid Chu Yanzhou's terrified screams, she struggled to get up, staggering toward the garage. Lu Jingshan can't have an accident. She had to go find him herself. Getting in the car, she saw the envelope I left for her, still placed on the passenger seat. Su Wangqing's internal organs felt twisted together, starting to ache. She was breathing heavily, but the pain followed her breath into her blood. Present everywhere. Why did she agree to let me fly the plane alone? Why didn't she arrange several experienced pilots to go with me? Why? Because human strength is limited. Recently, she was busy preparing birthday parties for the twins and entangled with Chu Yanzhou every day. Such trivial matters, she naturally had no mind to care about. The search and rescue operation lasted 2 full days, but they had searched hundreds of miles of nearby waters without finding any trace of survivors. The rescue personnel chose their words carefully, avoiding stimulating Su Wang. After all, she and Lu Jingshan had deep feelings. Everyone knew. Miss Su, if a plane crashes in the open sea, passengers have almost no chance of survival. Therefore, mere Lu may have already perished. Su Wangqing's tears flowed endlessly. At this moment, she was as soft as mud, could no longer stand, entirely supported by people beside her. But hearing the word perished, she suddenly turned red-eyed and screamed, "You're talking nonsense. How dare you curse my husband? He's not dead. I won't allow you to say he's dead." The assistant struggled hard to pull her away. Su Wangqing stood in place for a long time, suddenly muttering, "Today is our wedding anniversary. He told me to wait for him to return. He had prepared a grand anniversary celebration, but now the celebration has become a funeral." She didn't stay at the crash site anymore, but went to the hall herself. Looking at the large wedding photo in the center, her tears flowed again, thinking that when my plane crashed, she was with Chu Yanzhou. She hated wanting to kill herself at that moment. "Jingshan, were you scared then?" She gently caressed my eyes in the photo. "I promised I wouldn't leave you alone, so wait for me a little. I'll go with you." She stuffed the entire bottle of sleeping pills in her mouth. Leaning against the wedding photo and lying down, the medicine took effect very quickly. But in the end, she still didn't die. The hotel manager discovered something was wrong and called for emergency care, but the child couldn't be saved. When she woke up, her parents were lying beside her crying. "Why are you so foolish, child? Before doing something stupid, did you think of your parents?" Su Wangqing's eyes were empty. "Just consider you never gave birth to this unfilial child. Without Jingshan, I can't live." His parents immediately fainted from crying. Guran looked at this niece with a headache. Years ago, she fought with the entire family over Lu Jingshan. Now that Lu Jingshan was dead, she wanted to follow him in death. What charm do I ultimately have that makes her so infatuated? She was about to persuade her. Su Wangqing suddenly gripped her hand tightly. "Aunt, I usually drive that car. There's an envelope on the passenger seat. Can you get it for me?" That was the gift Jingshan left before departing. She had no hope of living anymore, but before dying, she wanted to open this last gift. Guran instructed the caregiver to watch over her and went to get the envelope herself. When she returned, she saw there was an additional man and 2 children in the hospital room. The man's eyes were red. "Even if you don't think of others, at least think of your own flesh and blood." Guran frowned, her hand pushing the door paused. What's going on here? As far as she knew, Su Wangking and Lu Jingshan had no children. Where did flesh and blood come from? Could it be she had an affair in marriage? If you die, you'll take these 2 children and die with you. In short, without you, my life has no meaning. In the hospital room, Su Wangking seemed moved. She reached out to stroke Chu Yanji's face. Sighed softly. Why must it be like this? Gu Ran coldly walked in, threw the envelope at Su Wangking. Here's what you wanted. Su Wangking opened the envelope. When she took out the contents, Chu Yanji was still holding her hand talking. Wangking, though Lu Jingshan didn't like me, but when something happened to him, I'm also very sad. But the dead are dead, the living must continue to live. Don't do foolish things anymore. Let me stay by your side from now on. Okay. He had endured for so long, finally waiting for the day Lu Jingshan died. From now on, Su Wangking would belong to him alone. He was imagining the beautiful life ahead, trying to suppress the smile at the corner of his mouth, but didn't notice Su Wangking's expression getting worse and worse. The next moment, Su Wangking threw what was in her hand at his head, her face livid as she stood up, forcefully gripping his neck. I told you long ago. Whatever you want I can give you, but absolutely don't let Jingshan know about this. But how dare you? How dare you stab this matter to Jingshan? How dare you provoke him so many times? I didn't. Chu Yanji tried to defend himself. His eyes caught the paper on the ground. Those were screenshots of messages between him and me. His pupils suddenly contracted. He had originally thought, with my pride, I would directly divorce Su Wangking or leave, not expose these things. Unexpectedly before dying I left this behind. Su Wangking's hand tightened more and more. At this moment, she truly regretted why she didn't directly kill this scourge years ago. Just as she was about to strangle Chu Yanji to death, Gu Ran pulled her away. Enough. Do you want to commit murder too? Chu Yanji survived the ordeal, truly feeling the fear of death. He couldn't believe looking at Su Wangking. I've done so much for you, and you really want to kill me. He loved Su Wangking's money and power, but also truly liked her. But at this moment, no matter how much love became hatred, things have come to this today. Is it all my fault alone? If you hadn't had affairs with me again and again, would I have had the chance to provoke Lu Jingshan? Now you want to push all responsibility onto me alone. Dream on. Let me tell you, maybe it wasn't a plain accident, but he was heartbroken and sought death himself, and the culprit who led him to suicide is you. Su Wangking was frozen in place by this statement, a moment of silence. These past few days, everything flashed before her eyes, and a thought also flashed through her mind. A moment later, she suddenly laughed loudly. Jingshan definitely didn't die. He must be hiding somewhere. She understands him very well, as tenacious as weeds, would absolutely never commit suicide. He would only leave her, hide somewhere she could never find, because he also understands her like this, knows she would never agree to divorce. Immediately investigate who Jingshan contacted these past days. I have been abroad for 3 months. During this time I always kept the curtains tightly drawn, sitting dazed in the room by myself. I know my restless emotions are because of Su Wangking, though I've removed her from my life, but the past was truly too unforgettable, even becoming my own habit. Song Hao invited me to dinner. When eating favorite dishes, I would turn to the empty space beside me and say, "Dear wife, this dish is delicious. Please make it again when we get home," making both Song Hao and myself startled. At night going to sleep, I habitually reached out to hug the person beside me, but touched only empty air. Then I would lose sleep. Over the years, Su Wangking had gently penetrated every aspect of my life. I needed some time to adapt again to living alone and completely remove Su Wangking from my life. 3 months later, I had adapted to my new life. I had obtained a double degree in university, in software technology and artificial intelligence. I really enjoyed programming, because in this binary world composed of ones and zeros, everything is certain. Master the rules, and you can use certainty to create more uncertainty. I like this solid feeling of control. After graduation, I always worked in this field, accumulating quite a lot of experience. Therefore, recently I've been experimenting with developing my own tech brand. About 3 months later, the research product was completed. I found factories to invest my own money in mass production. After the approval procedures, the product was launched to market. I originally just wanted to experiment, but unexpectedly the response was better than predicted, not only attracting a large number of consumers, but also drawing a group of investors wanting to cooperate with me. I didn't want to expose myself, because I was afraid others would recognize me and bring unnecessary trouble, so I decided all matters should be completely delegated to Song Hao to handle. Song Hao had chosen from many companies the most generous one, also the most powerful company. After the two sides finished negotiating the contract online, they proceeded to sign the contract offline. But what a coincidence, the CEO of their company was recently in this small town, so Song Hao didn't need to run around. Just go directly to find their CEO to sign the contract. At the appointed time, Song Hao entered the agreed location. The moment she saw Song Hao, Gu Ran froze in place. If she remembered correctly, the young man across from her was named Song Hao, Lu Jingshan's good friend. According to Su Wangking's investigation, that crash plane was remotely controlled. Song Hao was exactly the expert skilled in this. This meant Lu Jingshan never had an accident at all. What crashed was just an unmanned drone. Moreover, before my accident I only called Song Hao twice, so it was very likely Song Hao had helped me escape. Then his appearance here now, did it represent that Lu Jingshan was also here? Song Hao didn't know Gu Ran at all, nor did he know he had been exposed. After he left, Gu Ran called her assistant in, go investigate where he's staying, and who is staying with. The assistant nodded and was about to leave. Guran called him back. Haven't found that boy yet. Guran was harmed by enemies at age 9, leading to her being kidnapped by human traffickers and taken to a small mountain village. Hundreds of miles of endless mountains. She couldn't escape no matter what. Just when she thought her whole life would be buried here, a boy named Chen Zokai saved her. He led her on a small path she'd never seen and stuffed some hard steam buns into her hands. Just keep running straight from here. By tomorrow afternoon, you'll be able to get out. Guran grabbed him. Then let's go together. If they discover you, let me go. They'll beat you to death. Chen Xiaokai shook his head. I can't go. If I want to go, I have to take my mother too, but my mother's leg is broken. She can't walk. He was silent for a moment. Sister, when you get out, please call the police for me. My mother was kidnapped here too. The year after Guran escaped, she fell seriously ill. When she woke up, she had forgotten the location of that small village, only remembering those stubborn eyes, the bull-sized scar on his ankle, and his name Chen Xiaokai. Over the years, she had been searching for him. The assistant shook his head. President Shen, there are really too many boys with this name in the country. We're still screening. Guran suppressed the disappointment in her heart, waved her hand, go handle your business. A few days later, Songhao took me to a nearby small bar to drink, during which they had rejected several girls who came to flirt. The person I met when signing the contract a few days ago was stunningly beautiful, but her aura was too scary, very intimidating to look at. I didn't dare ask for her personal contact information. Songhao sighed with regret. Why I was so timid then? What a pity. Don't know when next time he'll be able to meet a super beauty of this level again. But in less than 1 second, he jumped up again. That girl who just passed is so cool. Exactly my type. It'll go for a bit. Be right back. He hadn't been gone long. When I felt the sofa corner beside me sink down, I thought it was Songhao as usual, lazily putting his arm on his shoulder. Casually asked, why back so soon? But when I leaned over, I discovered this was a stranger. I immediately jumped up, accidentally knocking over the drinks, wetting my jacket. I hurriedly wiped my clothes while apologizing to the person beside me. Sorry, I mistook you for someone else. Guran spoke flatly. It's fine, this voice. I suddenly looked up. Guran, in an instant, a feeling of fear shot up my spine. To the top of my head, why was she here? Did Su Wonky know about my faking death? These questions flashed through my mind, but I had no time to think anymore. Now only one word filled my mind: run. But I had just turned around when Guran grabbed my wrist from behind. Where are you running? I'm not doing anything to you. Guran still looked cold, but you must come back to the country with me to see Wonking. I turned back to look at her angrily. Miss Gu, where I go is my freedom. You have no right to interfere. Please let go now. Right? Guran didn't let go, but gripped even tighter. But because of your fake death, Wonking kept trying to commit suicide then. Guess she didn't die. She's frantically searching for you all over the world. Such emotional turmoil. I think her mental state seems abnormal already. Shouldn't you come back with me to see her? To resolve this matter? Hearing these things, I was silent for a long time. No need to meet again. She and I are already strangers. Guran frowned slightly. Wonking had an affair in marriage. That's her fault. You can divorce her, but not keep running away forever. I am running away. But if there was a choice, who would willingly give up everything, hide their identity and flee? I chose this way. Not just to punish her affair, but also she has no chance to harass me anymore. I sighed softly. You completely don't understand her. She won't divorce and won't let go. She will do very crazy things. If you really care about her, then don't tell her you've met me. Guran was startled, unconsciously let go. I took advantage of her moment of distraction, quickly ran outside. Songhao and I bought plane tickets that night, flying to another country. But the second day after settling down, as soon as I opened the door, 2 rows of bodyguards stood neatly at the entrance. Watching Guran step down from a luxury car, I was helpless. What do you ultimately want? This time I came to talk to you about a deal. I hope you can stay within my sight. In exchange, I can open to you all core technologies of the tech companies under my name. These past few days, she had investigated me thoroughly. She knew I loved the tech career. The conditions she offered were definitely something I couldn't refuse. As long as I agreed to stay, she could gradually persuade me to agree to meet Su Wonking. Of course, you can also refuse, but wherever you go, I will send people to monitor you. Comparatively speaking, agreeing would be more beneficial. I cursed under my breath, but in this helpless situation, still had to agree. To her conditions, Guran arranged for me near the company headquarters. A villa. It's very close to the company here. Convenient for you to come study and visit. After she left, Songhao regretfully knocked his head. Life is truly unpredictable. The bigger fish swallows the smaller fish. If I'd known earlier she was Su Wonking's aunt, even if I gave away the product for free, I wouldn't have cooperated with her. Sorry, Jingshan. It's not your fault. I sighed helplessly. The world is so vast. Who knew I'd encounter such a coincidence? Running into a company under Guran's name. I temporarily settled here, going to Guran's company to study during the day, returning home at night to research my own products. Every few days, Guran would come once, each time trying to persuade me to agree to meet Su Wonking. Today, when I returned from the company, I saw Guran sitting in the living room again, and beside her stood Su Wonking with an emotional expression. The moment she saw me, Su Wonking's eyes immediately reddened. Tears fell instantly. For 7 whole months, even in her dreams she thought of, longed to meet again. When she actually saw me, she didn't dare move. She was afraid this was a dream, even more afraid seeing the coldness and disgust in my eyes. Jingshin, she spoke softly and hesitantly. I just glanced at her once, then looked away, coldly glancing at Guran. Guran was used to dominating in business, always giving others attitude. This is the first time someone gave her attitude. She coughed unnaturally. I think your emotions have stabilized a lot recently, so I notified Wonking to come. The affair was her fault, but faking death was also your fault. Now I hope you two can calmly talk to each other. I laughed coldly. Calmly. Guran. Suppose you get married in the future, your husband has an affair, has 2 children with someone else, and hides it from you for 2 whole years, even multiple times, makes love with the other person where you two made vows. Could you calmly talk to him? Guran was left speechless by my retort, while Su Wonking's face turned pale as she lowered her head. Su Wonking, I called her. I faked my death, precisely because I didn't want any more involvement with you. But now that you've discovered it, then I'll speak clearly to you. You and I have no possibility anymore. Don't be lovesick and delusional, thinking that endless harassment will get my forgiveness and make us reconcile. Paused briefly. That day you and Chu Yanzhou went to bed in the estate. I stood outside the door and heard everything. I can never forget it in my lifetime. If you still remember our past feelings, then don't appear before me, because seeing you now reminds me of that day. Makes me want to vomit. Su Wonking at this moment was simply like ashes. She ran over and grabbed my hand, too flustered to speak properly. I was wrong. You can punish me however you want, even if you want to kill me to vent your anger, but don't not want me anymore. Jingshin. Without you, I can't live. I pulled my hand away. What do I want your life for? How you want to live has nothing to do with me. I suddenly laughed. Don't you and Chu Yanzhou have a pair of children? Doesn't your whole family know about this and accept him already? Now you have both a son and daughter. You can directly live with him. Su Wonking grabbed my hand again, hurriedly explaining, I've cut ties with him. I won't see him anymore. Beg you, give me a chance to make amends. She no longer cared about anything, even planning to kneel and beg. I pulled her back with one hand. Don't you understand human speech? I said we have no possibility anymore. Don't do these meaningless harassing things. I can't live without you. Su Wonking had cried until she couldn't speak properly. Guran beside her couldn't help but sigh. Though only 3 years older than Su Wonking, she had also watched her grow up, never seen her so wretched and undignified. Here I was being constantly pestered by Su Wonking's crying and begging. To death my heart was determined to escape. Su Wonking pressed one hand on Guran's face. In her shocked and fierce gaze, I kissed her lips firmly. Su Wonking's crying was all silenced. You and I have no possibility, because I already like your aunt now. Guran's pupil suddenly contracted. Su Wonking's face turned abnormally pale. Jingshin, don't say such angry words. What? You don't believe it. Your aunt has a successful career and is also stunningly beautiful. Most importantly, she's pure. So what's strange about me liking her? I smiled and was about to kiss Guran again. Guran's cold face finally cracked. She was half angry, half panicked as she stepped back several large steps. I slowly approached, one hand around her waist. At this moment, though, my face was smiling. My heart was annoyed with Guran to death. If not for her, Su Wonking might never have found me in her lifetime. My peaceful life wouldn't be disturbed either. She brought me such big trouble. I had to return her a little gift. I looked up and kissed her cheek. Aunt? What perfume do you use? So fragrant. Guran was startled. At this age, never had such close contact with the opposite sex. She never dreamed that one day she would be forcibly kissed twice in a row by her niece's husband. She forcefully pushed me away. For half a day, could say anything. A belly full of anger had nowhere to vent. Finally turned around, violently slammed the door and left. I smiled and asked Su Wonking, do I need to continue proving it to you? Su Wonking's face ashen sat down on the ground. She understood me too well. And just by looking at my eyes, she knew what I was thinking. She knew I was deliberately making her angry, wanting her to give up, but seeing me kiss someone else, she still felt heartbroken to the point of suffocation. Su Wonking suddenly thought, when I first discovered her affair, seeing those unacceptable videos of her and Chu Yanzhou, was my heart in more pain than this moment, 10,000 times more. She closed her eyes, tears slid down from her tightly shut eyes. Coming to this point, she couldn't blame anyone. She had personally destroyed everything herself. The next day, I continued going to Guran's main company to stud. At the elevator, I encountered Guran. Seeing me, Guran's face turned green, white, then red. A few seconds later, she walked toward the stairs with a livid face. A few minutes later, the assistant following Guran breathlessly climbed to the top floor. Couldn't help cursing the boss in his heart. Was she crazy? There's an elevator, but she won't take it, insisting on walking up more than 20 floors. Really deadly. That evening when I returned to the villa, I discovered the house was filled with the aroma of cooking. I thought Song Hao was in the kitchen, but the next moment, Su Wonking wearing an apron came out carrying a plate of vegetables. You're back. Just in time, the food is ready. Wash your hands and eat. In the steam rising from the rice and soup, I couldn't help being distracted for a moment. This scene had appeared countless times in the past 3 years. No matter how busy she was, Su Wonking always got off work early to cook before I returned. After I opened the door, it was definitely the aroma of food rushing in and Su Wonking's embrace. Such scenes were once my definition of happiness, but too many things had happened. Everything had changed. I picked up the food on the table and threw it into the trash. Yesterday I already made it very clear. Don't do these meaningless things. Su Wangqing's face clearly turned pale. Her smile also froze there. A few seconds later, she smiled again. These dishes don't suit your taste. I'll make them again. My expression was cold and impatient. Su Wangqing, do you need me to repeat yesterday's words again? You can say it as many times as you want. She picked up the empty plate, walked into the kitchen, calmly said, but I won't listen, won't leave you, even less give up. So from today, I will stay here to take care of you until you're willing to forgive me. Or until I die. You want to stay here? Fine. I'll leave. I had just started walking. Su Wangqing spoke flatly. Your friend Song Hao and your good friends and teachers back home, if you disappear from my life again, I'll make sure they have no place to stand anywhere. My body suddenly stiffened. Su Wangqing, don't you feel shameless? I don't want to be like this. Su Wangqing skillfully cut vegetables, but rarely cut her finger. She stared at her bleeding finger for a moment before saying, but this is the most effective way, isn't it? I didn't answer her. The spacious villa fell into deathly silence. She quickly remade the meal and brought it up, but I had no appetite and didn't want to see her. Directly went upstairs to sleep. Su Wangqing brought the plate up. Sleepy already? Eat something then sleep. I pulled the blanket, covering my head. Get out. Okay, when you're hungry, I'll make it again. Su Wangqing took the food back down, then came up to lie on the bed. She hugged me from behind. Her arms tightened around my waist. What are you doing? Let go. I struggled. Don't move. Darling, let me hold you for a bit. She locked my head, leaning against my back, satisfied sighing once. After more than 7 months apart, she finally got to hold her beloved again. At this moment, her floating soul finally returned to her body. This long-absent feeling of security made her eyes red. She whispered, Jingshin, I missed you so much, missed you terribly. I suddenly felt very sad. Her love was real, but having love to that extent, why did she still have an affair? Why destroy the relationship they had built together for years? Knowing today, why did it have to be back then? Wangqing, I can't forget your affair, and I can't forgive. We can't work anymore. What's the point of you doing this now? Let's part on good terms. Su Wangqing said nothing, just held tighter. When the moon rose, she let go. I know you don't want to see me. I'll go sleep in the living room. She bent down, wanting to give me a good night kiss like before, but finally straightened up. Good night. She left. I stayed awake all night again, only fell asleep when dawn broke. Near noon, the phone ringing woke me up. Why didn't you come to the company today? I was confused for a moment, only then realizing it was Gu Ran calling. I said unhappily, whether I go or not has anything to do with you. Do I need to report to you? Are you that free? Gu Ran was unexpectedly retorted. She was about to say something else when the phone was hung up. Looking at the red disconnected call interface on her phone, Gu Ran suddenly found herself amused. Was she going crazy today? Whether he came or not had anything to do with her. Why did she call to show concern, only to get scolded for no reason? I was woken up and couldn't sleep anymore. Washed my face and went downstairs. Su Wangqing had finished making lunch and was waiting. Seeing me put on my jacket to go out, Su Wangqing stood up from the dining table, carefully asked, Jingshin, the food is ready. Aren't you eating at home? Seeing you makes me lose my appetite. Eat at home. One day you'll starve to death. Su Wangqing lowered her head, then come home early tonight. Her answer was the sound of a door slamming hard. Su Wangqing knew I was resentful and angry toward her, but they had so many years of feelings, waiting for me to vent my anger and calm down. These feelings surely had room for salvation. Just this waiting period would definitely be very difficult. She smiled bitterly, however difficult it was. She brought it on herself. I left the villa. Also had no interest in eating lunch. Just felt annoyed inside. Previously when I saw Song Hao and his girlfriend break up and get back together, I was very confused. If you don't love anymore, then break up. If you love, then stay together. Why keep entangling with a woman endlessly? Now I understand. Love has inertia. Even after deciding to give up, that inertia will still tear at your heart, bringing long-lasting pain. With my confused mind, I went to the largest club here, called in over a dozen hostesses at once. One girl took a sip of wine, planning to transfer it mouth to mouth. I didn't refuse either. The two of us were about to touch when the door was kicked open with a bang. The girl was pushed away by a hand. Gu Ran's face was cold as ice. She coldly swept her gaze over these women. I'll get out. She looked toward me again. Do you know what you're doing? I leaned against the sofa drinking. I know. But what does this have to do with you? These people are ones I paid to call here. You have no right to tell them to get out. The one who should leave is you. Don't disturb my fun. The two had just exchanged a few words when Su Wangqing received the news and rushed over. Her eyes swept over the group of women in the private room. A cold murderous intent showed in her eyes. But the next moment, she pleaded with me. Darling, come home with me. Okay, these people are all dirty. I laughed contemptuously. So what if they're dirty and you're clean? Su Wangqing's face turned pale as she froze in place. I know you sent people to monitor me. That's how you got the news so quickly and rushed here. But let me tell you, if you can keep male lovers, can't I find women? Next time don't come running over to disturb my mood. Really annoying. Touch your conscience and think, initially even though I knew about you and Chu Yanzhao. But when you and he were having an affair, didn't I pretend not to know? To let you have your fun? When have I ever been like you? Su Wangqing's face had turned to Shen. My mocking gaze turned to Gu Ran. Aunt? You still haven't left. When I go out looking for women, even my legally registered wife has no right to interfere. What are you to give me orders? If you're too free, I suggest you drink more water. Both of you get out now. Remember to close the door when you leave. Su Wangqing knew she was at fault first. Now had absolutely no confidence to interfere. How could she leave? Let me stay here having fun with other women? Just thinking about it made her explode with jealousy. Meanwhile, Guran's chest kept rising and falling. She was angry at my crude words, even angry at herself for going crazy. Today she had originally come here to discuss business. Seeing him about to kiss someone else, she rushed in without thinking. What business was it of hers to interfere with him? The atmosphere was tense. When a man suddenly rushed in, he immediately hugged Su Wangqing tightly. Wangqing, how can you be so cruel? You don't even care about the children's life or death anymore. This voice I knew too well. It was Chu Yanzhao. Chu Yanzhao had nearly been strangled to death by Su Wangqing last time. The two had completely become enemies. Su Wangqing directly froze Chu Yanzhao's cards, reclaimed the 26 companies established for him, 5 estates, villas and other real estate, all vehicles previously given. Expensive watches were also demanded to be returned. In just one night, Chu Yanzhao became a poor man drowning in debt. He couldn't accept this reality. He went to find Su Wangqing's parents, begging the elderly couple to help him. Su Wangqing completely ignored those 2 children. Now the children following him were about to die. The Su parents loved their grandchildren, immediately called their daughter, wanting to mediate their relationship. Wangqing, a few days ago you said you'd treat Yanzhao well. Why are you treating him like this now? That Lu Jingshan is already dead? Are you going to abandon even your children for his? Those are your own flesh and blood. At that time, Su Wangqing was mentally disturbed from searching for my whereabouts. Hearing her mother's words, she coldly replied, Mother, if you acknowledge Chu Yanzhao and those 2 children, we will sever our relationship. If you still want me as your daughter, then drive the 3 of them away. Mother Su initially thought her daughter was speaking in anger. She let Chu Yanzhao stay in the old villa. Who knew the next day, Su Wangqing immediately posted announcements in major media, saying she had severed ties with her parents and immediately flew back to handle related procedures. Mother Su was shocked into a heart attack. After recovering, that night she drove Chu Yanzhao out, no longer daring to contact him. Though grandchildren were important, her daughter was her heart and liver. Chu Yanzhao completely lost his support, living in poverty and hardship. This time he finally found out about Su Wangqing's whereabouts, immediately borrowed money everywhere to run here. Meeting brings 3 parts affection. He believed as long as he begged well, even if she couldn't be like before, giving him lavish spending money, she could still guarantee his worry-free life. Otherwise, how would he live in the future? He was used to a luxurious lifestyle, completely unacceptable to work for a living. Such a life was no different from death. Wangqing, you can't be so cruel. Look at these 2 children, how thin they've become. You're their mother. People say maternal love is great. Don't you care at all? Our children can already call mother. The 2 children together called out coquettishly, Mommy! I laughed out loud directly. The scene before me was truly too absurd. Su Wangqing's face had turned livid. She called security to drag Chu Yanzhao out, but Chu Yanzhao hugged her tightly, refusing to let go, shouting that the children couldn't live without their mother. One night as husband and wife brings 100 days of affection. Looking at all the nights of passion before, she couldn't be so heartless. Such a scene, even Guran was angry watching. She unconsciously looked toward me, but I was watching with interest, even leisurely peeling some fruit to eat. Actually, though Guran had been abroad these years, she had also heard about the deep love between me and Su Wangqing, had even seen their couple videos. Back then when I looked at Su Wangqing, my eyes were obviously full of love. I would even get jealous if she looked at another man, not like now, with only indifference and coldness in my eyes, as if looking at a stranger. How many times must one be disappointed to become so completely different? She lowered her head, rarely feeling somewhat ashamed. Had she done wrong initially by telling Su Wangqing my whereabouts? Chu Yanzhao made trouble for a long time, still being carried out by security. On the way out, he shouted all the way. Su Wangqing looked at me with shame. Jingshan didn't say anything. I stood up walking toward the exit. Now hearing you speak makes me nauseous. Su Wangqing's face was full of panic and despair, her expression exactly like Chu Yanzhao being dragged away. That night, I didn't go home. Su Wangqing finally found me by the river. It's cold here. Let's go home. Home. Where is there still a home between you and me? I looked at the moonlight on the river. Su Wangqing, consider this me begging you. Please go away for this relationship. I almost bet half my life on it. What more do you want in the end? Do I have to die? Before you let me go, Su Wangqing's eyes immediately reddened. Her lips trembled. Jingshan, Su Wangqing, give me a way to live. If I have to face you for the rest of my life, I'd rather jump from here. Death would be cleaner. I'm sorry. Su Wangqing rushed over, hugging me tightly, crying uncontrollably. It's all my fault, but I can't let you go. I can't live without you. I looked at her. After a long time I laughed coldly, pushing her away. You keep saying you love me, but it turns out you only think of yourself. I turned to leave, but suddenly received a call from Song Hao. Jingshan, there's something I must tell you. Your previous phone number was cancelled. The hospital couldn't find you, so they called me. Your birth mother, she's in critical condition, wants to see you one last time. I stood still, though I knew domestically was Su Wangking's sphere of influence. Once I returned, it would be very hard to escape again, but I still immediately rushed back that night. Su Wangking and Gu Ran both followed me back. My mother and I hadn't met for over 10 years. My memory of mother still stopped at childhood. Back then, mother was always beaten and never got enough to eat, like a walking skeleton wrapped in dry skin. Now I stood outside the hospital room, but couldn't bring myself to push the door open. Jingxin, let me go in with you. Su Wangking gently took my hand. Get lost, I pushed her away. You stay outside, not allowed in. I opened the door and entered, hearing my approaching footsteps. Mother struggled to open her eyes. You came actually meeting you, there's nothing special. Mother just wants to say one thing. Thank you. I stared blankly at her. I never needed mother's thanks from the beginning. I wanted mother to be free. Mother doesn't need to thank me. Saving mother was also saving myself. The hospital room door was pushed open again. It was mother's current husband and daughter visiting her in the already small hospital room. I was pushed to where there was no place to stand. At mother's side, I never had a place to stand. I turned and walked toward the exit. Mother called me back loudly. Ziokai. I'm sorry. All these years I've been resentful toward you. Didn't treat you well. My steps paused slightly. No need to apologize either. I understand mother's pain. Only by completely cutting me off could mother say goodbye to those painful memories. Start a new life. Outside, Gu Ran couldn't believe her ears staring at me. What did that old woman just call him? Ziokai. Su Wangking sighed. It's Chen Ziokai. His old name, his mother's surname is Lu, so he took this new name for himself. Gu Ran suddenly gripped her shoulder tightly. He has a large scar on his right ankle. Doesn't he? How do you know that? Gu Ran weakly stepped back, collapsing onto the bench outside. The lifesaver she had searched for all these years had been right in front of her eyes. She had imagined countless times, after finding that boy, she would give him the best things in the world, fulfill all his wishes. But now, not only couldn't she give him anything, she had done things that made him hate her. A few days later, my mother passed away. At the funeral, I didn't shed a single tear, but on the way back, I suddenly asked to stop the car, lost control running to the roadside crying loudly. Gu Ran got out of the car, raising her hand to comfort me. Su Wangking blocked her hand. She felt Gu Ran cared about her husband a bit too much, Jingxin's mother being seriously ill. As his wife, it was normal to follow back. Gu Ran was a relative 8 poles away, yet dropped several big contracts, stubbornly following back to the country. Su Wangking could help but suspect she had some unspeakable feelings for me. At this moment, she looked at Gu Ran coldly and hostilely. My husband, I will take care of myself. No need to trouble aunt. She turned wanting to hug me, but was pushed away. Get away from me, I collapsed, shouting, just consider it pity for me. Su Wangking, Dun appeared before me today, making me nauseous. Su Wangking's hand froze in midair. She felt a sharp pain from her heart. To her, I had already become such an unbearable existence. Did she really have no chance for redemption anymore? She walked heavily away. The next few days, I still didn't want to see her. She also wisely didn't appear anymore. But where I lived was surrounded 3 layers deep by her people. I was under Su Wangking's house arrest, losing my freedom. Half a month later, late at night, Su Wangking appeared again. She sat by the bed, gently stroking my cheek. This half-month, you've lost a lot of weight. I coldly brushed her hand away. How long do you plan to imprison me like this? Forever. Su Wangking smiled, bending to hug me. I've arranged everything outside. From now on, I won't go anywhere. Just stay here with you. You must stay with me too. I know you're someone who values relationships. If you abandon me, it'll make all the people you care about live worse than death. I laughed coldly. You've really gone crazy. I'm not crazy. Su Wangking hugged me tightly. But if you leave again, it'll definitely go crazy. The next day, she had people bring hundreds of suits and wedding dresses to supplement photos for our 3rd wedding anniversary. Multiple lighting crews all got into position. The photographer was about to click the shutter. I suddenly grabbed the cake from the table, throwing it all over Su Wangking. Go to hell. Who wants to supplement photos with you? Su Wangking calmly wiped the cake off herself. There are many backup wedding dresses, and many cakes too. If you're not satisfied yet, you can continue throwing. That day I threw at her over 10 times. The last time, Su Wangking frowned slightly, gripping my hand tightly. Jingxin, can we take photos first? After the photos, you can hit me however you want. I smiled lightly, throwing cake straight at her face. No, that day the wedding photos still couldn't be taken. The cake had plum sauce in it, something I love to eat. Su Wangking was severely allergic to it. She fainted on the spot. That night, as soon as she woke up, she rushed to cook for me, but I didn't appreciate her kindness. That night, after she finished bathing and got on the bed, I pushed her outside the door. You're not allowed to sleep with me. You're dirty. Su Wangking smiled, but I bayed. I also smiled. I don't mean that kind of dirty, but that you've slept with Chu Yanzhou so many times. Very dirty. Su Wangking's breathing stopped. She didn't get on the bed anymore, but took blankets and sheets to sleep on the floor. The next day, Su Wangking was woken early by the butler's call. Afraid of waking me, she quietly left the bedroom. What's the matter? Miss, President Gu is at the gate saying she wants to see you. Su Wangking came to the estate gate, seeing Gu Ran standing outside. She showed a smile. I heard from the butler. This half-month, On has come 6 times. Is there something? Gu Ran stared into her eyes. I came to visit Lu Jingxin. His phone is always off. Wangking, are you imprisoning him? Even though you're husband and wife, doing this is also illegal. Su Wonking laughed coldly. So aunt knows we're husband and wife. As an elder, isn't aunt caring about Jingshin a bit too much? She stepped closer a few steps, speaking in a low voice. Even if Jingshin kissed aunt, it doesn't represent anything. He was just trying to make me angry. Aunt doesn't really think Jingshin likes you. Do you? Guran stiffened. Aunt? Don't come here anymore in the future when you have nothing to do. Even when you have something. Don't come. This place doesn't welcome aunt. On the way back to the room, just thinking about someone else coveting me, her heart was almost burned by jealous fire. No good. It's too unsafe here. She had to take me to the island she just bought at sea. She immediately ordered her assistant to arrange this. The next few days, she was always busy with this matter. The day before preparations were complete, her assistant suddenly called, saying Chu Yanzhou had chased to the company making a scene. He was holding the two children standing on the rooftop, saying if he couldn't see her he would jump. Su Wonking's face cold rushed to the company. Not long after she left, Guran led people storming into the estate. Guran found me. I was standing on the balcony. She silently stood beside me for a while, until my impatient gaze swept over. What are you here for? She gathered all her courage to speak. Do you remember, when you were little you saved a kidnapped girl? All this time, it had always been Guran taking care of others. In her memory, that little boy was the only one who had ever taken care of her. He was very special to her, but Guran couldn't say what that feeling was like. I froze in place at her words. It's me. Guran's eyes lit up. You still remember me? I laughed coldly again. Of course I remember you. You promise-breaking liar. Back then, she had clearly promised that after escaping she would call the police for me. That year when I was small I told this news to mother. Mother rarely smiled at me. She was like a child constantly asking again and again. Really? You're not lying? Are you? Of course not. She promised, patted my chest assuring her. But they waited and waited. 1 month passed, 1 year passed, several years passed. Still no police came to rescue them. Mother resented me greatly for this. She felt I was just like my biological father. A liar. In the years that followed, I never saw mother smile again. Guran hurriedly explained. I did call the police that year, but I was seriously ill then. When I woke up I couldn't remember the specific location of that village. All these years I've been searching for you. I laughed coldly and walked away. It doesn't matter anymore, but now I truly regret. I shouldn't have saved you that year. Should have let you die there. If not, my relationship with mother wouldn't be so bad. Now I wouldn't be forced to face Su Wonking. This person who disgusts me. Guran stood still, her heart clenched with each beat. All her limbs felt sharp pains. Wait, she blocked my way. Lu Jingshin. I'm sorry. I can't change what happened, but I can make amends. If you don't want to stay, it'll take you away right now. I stopped walking. Su Wonking uses my friends to threaten me. After I leave, can you guarantee their safety? Guran immediately assured. No problem. I was silent for a moment. One last time trusting you, because now I have no other choice. On the other side, Su Wonking came to the company rooftop, seeing Chu Yanzhou standing outside the railing. She was full of coldness. You still dare appear before me? Last time abroad, if Chu Yanzhou hadn't suddenly appeared, he and I wouldn't have become so tense. Chu Yanzhou looked at her pleadingly. Wonking, we still have 2 children. Do you really not want me anymore? Actually, after experiencing so much, he had understood this woman was heartless, even less trustworthy, but he had lived in wealth since childhood, then was kept by Su Wonking. Besides spending money, he had no survival skills. Moreover, he was carrying 2 children. Now he had no other choice. Could only come beg Su Wonking. Su Wonking laughed coldly. If you hadn't instigated from between, how would Jingshin and I come to this? I want to kill you. As for these 2 children, they're just born through surrogates. Whether you live or die, I don't care. Her gentle but disgusting words shattered Chu Yanzhou's last ray of hope. He collapsed to the ground, his eyes full of despair. He had no hope left to live. In utter desperation, an unprecedented anger arose in Chu Yanzhou's heart. Was it me? Did I cause your relationship to break up? If you truly love steadfastly, could I have repeatedly seduced you to my bed? Now you push all responsibility onto me. Flies don't swarm uncracked eggs. You yourself are rotten. That's why you got mixed up with me. Su Wonking laughed once, looking at him like watching a circus monkey for the last time. Before leaving the rooftop, Su Wonking heard Chu Yanzhou's horse roaring. Su Wonking, I curse you never to get what you want. Die restlessly. Su Wonking laughed contemptuously, but as she stepped out of the company building, several dark shadows quickly fell before her, like watermelons falling from a fruit stand. A dull thud followed, skin and bones shattered, the contents splattered everywhere. Fresh red blood and white matter simultaneously splashed onto her face. Su Wonking was dazed for several seconds, clearly seeing the mangled corpses before her. Her face turned pale. At this moment she didn't know if fear or shock was greater in her heart. Someone had died here. She was taken to the police station for questioning, waiting until late night to return home, only to discover the villa guards were all drugged. Tied up, the surveillance system completely destroyed, and I had vanished without a trace. She nearly went mad, frantically shaking the unconscious butler awake, screaming asking what happened. The stiff butler was shaken awake by her. Miss, it was your aunt. She led people storming in to take the master away. Guran! Su Wonking gritted these words through her teeth. At this moment she truly wanted to eat this aunt alive. She immediately sent people to block all traffic in the city. But it was too late. By then I was already on a private jet leaving the country. After a day of flying, the plane landed in a small foreign town. Guran had arranged housing here and acquaintances. I settled in this place. It's been 5 days. Everything that needed arranging is done. Why haven't you left yet? Guran was startled. This was the 8th time I had driven her away. Lu Jingshan, I want to wait until you're familiar with the environment here before leaving. I'm already very familiar with this place. No need for you to worry. I locked the door, preparing to go to a nearby restaurant for dinner. I'm very grateful you helped me, but I also saved you before, or even now. Of course, if you need. Before you leave, I can treat you to a meal. Guran was somewhat disappointed as she lowered her head. Do you hate me very much? I smiled, the once-in-a-century super genius of the Aerospace Institute. Guran smiled bitterly. I'll leave this afternoon, then I wish you a smooth journey. I lived in this small town for 3 years. In these 3 years, I successfully researched many tech products, established my own company. However, since it was inconvenient for me to show my face, all companies were under Song House name. Every holiday, though she knew I didn't welcome her, she still came. She liked me. Everyone could see it. I could see it too, but I had no interest in participating in another love affair with unknown outcome. I felt being alone now was very good. Didn't need another companion. In the 3rd year during New Year, I very seriously rejected Guran, and when the 4th year's New Year was approaching, I heard news about Suwonking after a long time. But what I heard was news of her death. Over the years, she had been madly searching for traces of me everywhere, but with Guran obstructing from between, she couldn't find any information. Suwonking gradually began to go insane. A few years ago, she rushed into Guran's office with a knife, nearly stabbed her to death. Besides not being able to find me, she often couldn't sleep all night. As soon as she closed her eyes, Chuyanzhou and the 2 children appeared in her dreams every night. They were covered in blood, staring with wide eyes, silently watching her without saying a word, not knowing if this was finally retribution or her remaining conscience feeling remorse. Over time, she developed severe depression. A few days ago, she held the wedding photo of her and me, a jump from the top floor of the company. I returned to the country to attend her funeral. The pastor read Suwonking's last will. The content was very brief. The moment of the affair, I thought I only made an insignificant mistake. That could be hidden, but it turned out, my whole life from that moment was buried by myself. Sorry, the old person was gone. Grievances also disappeared like smoke. At this moment I thought of when I was 18. Suwonking stood before me with a red face. Hello? We exchanged contact information. The sunlight was just shining on her cheek then, just like now, light caressing her coffin.